Oh,
the look.
yeah.
It's
Hey,
steps.
yeah. Hey, before we get going, I thought we'd do a moment of silence for Mike Drake.
Yeah,
Just,
sure.
You know. All righty. All right. Go yours, Andy.
Okay. I think last time we were together, I said I had one more idea, and you're going to be looking at it here. Plus, I've spent a week and probably like 18, 20 correspondence with DEP and Flycatcher and DEP and Flycatcher and DEP and Flycatcher again to try to figure out what exactly is going on there. So I think I've talked to Cordelia early this week, I think, on this idea, and I think there's two things that we're trying to narrow down right now. One's how are we going to build this building, the construction type, and the second, like, where exactly is it going? And that's when we're really, I think, can kind of get into the VE, and we may not even have to with that. So this is my idea here. So the floor plan is the exact same one that you've looked at here. But instead, so this is an idea of just an all wood. I think it's really the simplest kind of thing. So it would be constructed in the square, and then over the apparatus bays, because that's 3 bays that are about 55 feet wide, we'd have one big 412 triangular truss. We would have just an infill piece over the mezzanine, about the 10 feet in there. And then we'd have a lower, same kind of 55-foot wood truss over the whole living area. So this is simple bearing walls. It'd probably be like, maybe up here, 2 2x8s at 2 foot on center, 2 2x6s, something like that. But it's completely all wood construction. Easy. Cordelia and I talked, and there's just so many, subcontractors that know how to deal with wood and LVLs and trusses and that type of thing. They're on the big side, but I've done 65 feet, before. 55's kind of getting, you got to be careful when you put them up, but I think it's a really good way to go. Then when you look at the elevation, the little pieces that stick out above and beyond would just be their own simple trusses, the whole way that I didn't show on here. But yeah, I think it will work out very nice. And I think it's got a little, kind of more coastal feel to it as well. The other good things about it, there's no columns in the apparatus bays.
Yep.
All the snow's going to shed to the sides. We got an option, if we are able to come around, to kind of come through the other side. And so I think it gives us, I think we're going to get the most value out of this design. We'll wait to kind of see what they say, but I think, talking about it, it's going to be the way forward. Yes.
On your trusses, are you looking at like metal gusset plate impressed trusses?
Yeah, just getting them from the truss manufacturer, so it'd just be, 412 triangular trusses shipped up here on the back of a truck and rolled up on top. So something that, pretty much every framing carpenter knows how to do.
And we can manufacture them locally. I mean, Hancock, Hammond, all carry these. We
Yeah.
can manufacture these for us or carry them for us.
So, and then in that mezzanine, depending on how we go here too. So I've shown like the insulation just at the bottom chord of the truss. That would require some dry system up in that truss area. We'll talk with these guys about, is it better to insulate at the top chord, and then we don't have any dry sprinkler systems anywhere. Also, we could kind of take that ceiling out of the mezzanine and maybe get a lot of height in the mezzanine. So there's options, I think, for this design. On the outside, it would be like a hardy plank or some other type of composite clapboard siding, and then I've just shown kind of like a masonry brick veneer on the bottom. So I think we can make it look nice. I think it's really functional. We're not wasting any space with it. And the only thing that gets a little awkward is the future bay, how, kind of adding on to that, and, so, but I'm kind of showing that in a dotted line as another, little piece off of that. But that's doable as well. So the floor plans are the same ones you've been looking at. I just kind of, this will work with this shape. That's the 55-foot, and then 10-foot and another 55-foot on the app bays. So it's the same one that Mark was working with. Then on the third sheet here, I got two site plans, kind of schematic site plans shown. So this is kind of enlarged one of the site plan that you've seen. It says option 2 if no stream on the bottom. So, and maybe I can back up to tell you where we're at. So this all started with a vernal pool at the end of that little blue spear of wetlands that's coming down there. There was a circle and a vernal pool in there. Flycatcher came out and they said, no, it's not a vernal pool. And the reason it's not a vernal pool was because it was fed by a slow-moving stream. And I'm like, okay, well, what does that mean? Well, a slow-moving stream, then we have a setback from that, and it's not, but we don't have a vernal pool. Well, what if we, but the stream section, so stream, I'm trying to condense this into simple. This has been days of me trying to figure this out. So stream's kind of defined by, it has defined edges on the waterway and a gravel bottom. And so apparently there's about 20 feet of that could be kind of classified as a stream. The rest of this whole thing coming down here, not really.
Runoff.
Yeah, it's wetlands runoff coming down there. But feeding that little vernal pool is section, and you've been out there, Keith, it's about like that wide or so, and, maybe like about that deep. And that was after a rain. And so I've been, since our last meeting or before, contacting DEP. So Flycatcher said, get them out here, have them come look at it. And it might, just because it's so short, it's probably inconsequential. They'll probably just be like, 20 feet, is 20 feet make a stream? Not really. But that they need to make that call, not anybody on our side. So if it's not a stream, it's a vernal pool again, but it's a vernal pool that is a I don't know what the terminology is. It's
Not significant.
Not significant.
Yeah.
So they had another name for it too, vernal pool, and we can build right up to it. There's no setbacks or anything like that. And then this becomes just it's not a highly significant wetland either. So if that's the case, I just showed on this first one with no stream, we can kind of build back up. I've shown, you see the roads kind of turned. There's a big, it's pretty flat for a while out there that we could, I think, make that turn. And there's two things, that'll slow traffic down when people come to make that right-hand turn, especially coming from down the hill from Mountain Road. It's got a nice, like, Le Mans turn on it right now, and it probably banked a little bit that you can go around that corner, about 80 miles an hour. So this would, like, slow the traffic down on it, and it'll give you a bigger, kind of tarmac in front of it to turn trucks around in front of the apparatus bays. These are schematics still until we get the so I've got the surveyor. They're going to actually shoot me the center of that wet stream, whatever it is, and also Flycatcher's going to come back and delineate that. But they wanted to see what DEP says before they do that. So if I talking to Flycatcher again, I said, okay, so if they tell us it's a stream, that's the next page. What do we have going? And he said, from the edge of the defined bank, which might just be 20 feet of that, we have a 25-foot setback, and we're still in permit by rule. I think you can maybe go closer, but then it gets a lot more complicated permitting-wise. But I tried to take a look, and again, if this blue line is in the correct location, that's from the Normandy, kind of piece of it. If that's in the correct location, I kind of took this end piece and slid it all forward, the living area, so it didn't stick out the back. It's all kind of coming forward. We'd have to reorient the floor plan a little bit in there, how it comes into the apparatus bay. But then we pull the back of the building all the way up to that stream setback. And I think there's still opportunity. I'd like to get a little more, space in front of the apparatus bays to be able to do some better turnarounds and so on. But we can, there's no sense in going too far with it until we know exactly, where the stream is. Maybe it's like way another 20 feet back. That would be great. And hopefully it's not a stream. So he hasn't committed, but I gave him next week. Finally found the right person that's the field guy. And he corresponded with him, Josh, is it, I think, or something?
I think so.
And so he said, what's a good time? And I said, well, Thursdays at 3 are really good, or 2 or 3 or 4. So, and we're meeting next week, so hopefully, I didn't see anything in my email today, but hopefully we'll get them,
Yeah.
back on the horn.
It's gonna be dry for a few days.
Yeah, I'll just tell them, wait till after it's dry.
Oh, we go up there with a shovel, kind of slide it to the east.
Yeah.
You want to borrow
I know.
one of our dewatering pumps?
Now, remember, kid, you're on TV. You're just joking. Right?
Nobody's watching it.
I know, you're just joking. I know, but I think we have options in both, no matter what they say here on it. I hope they would see that, public safety is, more important than a definition of 20 feet of stream that doesn't really have any wildlife in it. But, that's that's above my pay grade. So I think, so we talking to Cordelia, I think you agree, we ought to go back and Mark's going to kind of take a fresh stab at this.
Estimating on this.
Yeah.
Because I think it's nicely consolidated now. We've
Yeah.
achieved the square footage savings we talked about. But we've also come to, a single construction type, which will certainly achieve some of the savings that we looked at last time. So we're gonna work on. Oh, sorry. So we're gonna, Mark is working on that right now, so.
So
He's not here.
rather than, we may be a little premature even on the value engineering log because we were like, well, if we move the building over here and if we do this and that. So I think we're in a better place to, I asked them, I don't want to know if it's 200,000 or 300,000 less than something that I don't even remember what it was. Just how much is this?
Is this?
So we're going to start with like kind of a reset. This is what they're going to estimate. And I have good hopes for how this is going to go.
So when you say start from a reset, is that reset from that 6.2 figure that we got?
Yeah, we're just, I think we'll just start,
We'll just
not
go in.
over. He's got numbers for
Yeah.
the floor
Yeah.
plan didn't
Yeah.
change.
And the
Okay.
mechanical systems.
With the site. So I'm thinking and I should have probably put them on here, but probably at the end of the tarmac in front of the apparatus bay, maybe where that new road is. We'll probably start to go down into that ravine a little bit. So I was thinking that at the end of that is where maybe those cisterns could go.
Over here.
Yeah, just like I think we got two, we're talking about 30,000 gallon cisterns, one for the sprinkler and one for a truck fill.
The only trick with that is you got to be able to get to it, the truck fill.
Well, it'd be kind of under the road, I think,
Oh, are you talking about underneath the 6 parking spots? Is that what you're?
No, I think,
Across the road.
right, like where the roads curve. I should have, just right at the end of like right here. So it'll be under,
Under the tarmac.
yeah, well, or I don't, again, this is all ledgy here. Last thing I want to do is start blasting to try to bury, 30,000 gallon cisterns. We'll try to push them over to the area that's already depressed in there, and then we can use them for some of the fill, maybe. So
How many square feet does the water tank on Rose Island? What Chuck and I had a thought, the new building up here, the recycling building, is gonna be sprinkled. And there's some talk of maybe the cistern for the sprinkler system for the fire station be inside the recycling building in the far corner.
In the building?
It's gonna be insulated now, heated.
That's a big tank to have inside, take up a lot of space.
Well, I was wondering how many square feet, just an option that we should be looking at. as far
Yeah,
as-
we haven't really talked about, is this the fill tank or the sprinkler tank?
The sprinkler tank.
Yeah. I think I got to get, you know, with you guys and, you know, kind of somebody on a sprinkler end of it to really
Yeah.
kind of give us the options on how big it needs to be. But,
Just cost savings, if we end up hitting ledge for that cistern for either one of them.
yeah.
If there's a spot in the building that we could,
And a submersible will take it pretty far. I mean, I like
Yeah.
run the water system in Pittsburgh, and we pump all the way down the hill up
Oh, yeah.
to
and it is downhill, if
Yeah.
you put the cistern in the recycling building.
yeah. So
30,000 gallons is about 4,000 cubic feet.
Well, that's, I'm not talking square footage, not cubic feet.
Well-
You've got the height, I just meant how much floor space is it gonna take up?
Yeah, so if you got an 8-foot ceiling, then
Oh, we got
You're
14
talking-
foot, we got 14-foot ceilings. Or maybe 16. Anyway, another discussion for.
yeah. But I mean, so these are now we're at actually the good things to be working out. Like,
Yeah.
but that's a good idea, you know, too, on it to try to.
But
you're gonna-
but definitely having a private main between the two facilities and one tank and one pump's gonna save some money.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Either way,
Yeah.
Right. So that's, so we've made progress, that's the way it is. I think, you know, even looking at this mezzanine, I was thinking, you know, a bearing wall under it, and then maybe every 12 feet, a wood PSL post and some LVLs up there, trying to just get out of steel altogether in this. And I think, you know, we got some, like I said, really good options for that we can have savings that don't really decrease the, you know, the value and the utility of the building itself. So,
Can, on an ideal world, first of all, I want to say this is a huge improvement in my opinion, so thank you for that.
thanks, yeah.
I like the idea that you're gonna have pretty good mezzanine space up there and the potential to put the ceiling up a little bit higher. if you
Yeah.
would, And it got me thinking, could we not put a door onto an exterior, like a barn door on an exterior, so if we had something of.
Oh, to bring up there, yeah, absolutely.
Ideally, it would be on the back side of the building.
An old
rather than
hoist
on the-
or something,
On
yeah.
the front.
Yeah.
But, and the mezzanine goes all the way to the rear wall, it does not go all the way to the front wall.
Correct, yeah, it does, yeah.
So-
There's in the floor plan, there's that little, the little thing on the left there is just showing it. So overall mezzanine plan, it's really front to back and,
Yeah.
you know, so the whole way. And again, that one, I'm just kind of infilling between the two trusses with, you know, a 2x10, 2x12, something like that.
You got a
Just,
fork truck at the recycling center, right?
Oh, yeah.
Forklift.
Yep,
So if we had something heavy, we wouldn't have to go borrow a forklift to do it.
no, backhoe, forklift, everything.
No. Or we could beef that up and put two 30,000 gallon cisterns up in the
No,
mezzanine area there. So sprinkle, they just punch a hole, if you get a fire, it'll sprinkle right out,
Break the seal.
yeah. So, so that's our update for everybody. I think we've made good progress. The survey, that'll be really important information.
When do we
And
think, the next week?
I think they're coming out, they just, Chrissy,
Yeah,
you
we got the
guys.
price down. which
And
is
we,
good.
and we
Okay.
got the price down too.
Yeah,
Yay.
yeah.
so
Yeah.
if one of the senators comes through for us, given this type of construction, would that not give us a complete project, including the fourth bay?
Yeah, I think, yes.
Probably.
Probably.
I mean, if we
think,
include the
yeah,
money
yeah,
from the
yeah.
federal earmark.
Yeah, and would the trust be able to reach to across the fourth bay without having to?
That's a little, I don't like going
That's gonna
past
be
55.
hard, yeah,
Yeah.
You'd have
and
to do what he's got drawn in there.
yeah.
I was just gonna do a little, and we can push that back so the front facade still looks the same. And, You know, maybe that's an ambulance, well, it's not really great for an ambulance bay because it's the furthest one away.
How about
but-
for a boat?
Yeah, but it could be, yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Brush trucks or I don't know which
Height.
one, you know, stuff like that that you might have could be over there. And just give you space in there, boat. Right.
And I definitely like the building pushed back
Yeah.
with a better apron.
Oh, yeah. Well, if it's, so let's all keep our fingers crossed that they say, yeah, it's not consequential for a stream. Because that gives us options. I could still turn the building, I can do anything. It gives us a lot more options. We're not really pushed toward the road like we are. And again, I don't have the exact survey yet, so I don't know if this, you know, center of stream is really there or over here a little bit till we get the survey information.
I see you put a detail over the lobby door as well, which I was hoping for on the exterior doors.
Yeah, it's a little
Just to-
entrance.
So
over
when you're
there.
down there trying to punch in your combination. you don't
Yeah,
have to
you're
rain
not
right down.
standing in
Yeah.
the rain, yeah. So yeah, I think it's, you know, I think, like I said, I think it's really kind of coming along, so.
What is the bump out on the front of the workspace, on the elevation?
Oh, just for aesthetics.
Yeah.
So, you know, just to kind of break up that wall, I don't know, I just threw something there. I might just bump it out by, you know, putting another 2x6 on the outside,
Yeah.
just to have a little relief on the
It-
front.
It's
Well, if you're
good
gonna do
looking.
that, you might as well make it usable space, right?
Well, yeah, could do that, yeah.
Put a settee in there or something.
Yeah.
So,
That's where you're gonna put the commode, right in front of the door.
Yeah.
well, this would be, you know, looking on here, like the flagpole would probably be right in front of that bump out on the, if you look at the kind of site plans there, you know, that would, you know, kind of be, and then you come in the side. So,
You know, if you move the conference room to the center of that wall, that would be nice to have a little,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. I figured, I kind of just drew that, figuring that we could change
It's
those
a nice
rooms
detail.
around a little bit.
Nice detail.
Thank you. All righty,
Alrighty,
okay,
Great.
yeah.
so, you guys, I don't know how long Mark will need, but,
Yeah, let me get him, he's started to look at it, we sort of have a couple things going on at the same time, but I would say in the next week or two. we can
Okay.
definitely get there.
I want him to spend the proper amount of time on it.
Yes, but we do have good sub
Mason.
input, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
That right wall, the right roof on that, is that a due south facing wall? All right,
That's what I, you know, that's what I was thinking if we, although it'll be a lot of trees over there, you think it's solar or something on that?
yeah, in the
Yeah.
future. I mean, the building code already requires you to build it.
I think it is, I think it's pretty south. But at a 412 pitch, you're almost, it doesn't really matter which way you're facing when you get lower.
Yeah.
Because, I think you lose, if you're not facing due south, you lose maybe 15-20% of the efficiency of the panel. If it's on a steep slope, you lose more, but on a shorter slope. Because I've had buildings that were just east-west, we couldn't do anything about it, and we put the panels up on a 412 slope, and they work still really well, even though they're not facing south.
I was just making the observation. I think the building code doesn't, the roof has to be built so you can put it on a future.
Oh, yeah, well, the trusses would, and that's another easy thing for the wood trusses and so on, so, yeah. So that, I woke up one morning and had this, you know, kind of idea, so here it is. Or I woke up at 2 a.m.
That's when they always happen.
This actually looks like a large rural firehouse, so it's.
Yeah, I
That's a nice
know.
look.
Yeah.
Very
does.
nice design. Yeah.
Good,
Yeah.
good, all right, well, good.
What is the total overall height of the building?
It's right it's at 36. It'll be, 3.95 pitch or
What's our
something.
limit, Kevin? Do you?
I'm assuming, I don't know if it's to the ridge.
Whatever this building is.
Typically, it's 35 feet, but I can't remember where Harpswell, if you measure it to the
Yeah.
peak, usually most towns do.
To the peak. And Portland's like living, they make it.
Yeah, you measure it if it's a peaked roof to halfway up
Yeah.
the roof, but
Yeah.
this is like,
Average original elevation to peak or something.
this is hovering around the 35-foot mark.
Yeah. We used to be 30.
Okay.
And then when I got here, I got to change to 32, and then everything changed. Now, I think we're at 35 now,
That's
at
what I
36.
thought.
Oh, I hope it's 35.
Interior.
That's pretty universal throughout Maine, 35 feet. It's just the difference is how you measure it. Yeah.
And really, the reason it was that way is because the limit we have for ground ladders in town is 35 feet,
Yeah.
so, which means you really only want.
Oh, yeah.
Building's gonna be sprinkled.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
in this case, I think we just have in the back of our head, we might have to ask for a variance, and so.
Okay. So, but I mean, if it's a 3.9 on 12 versus a 4 on 12, you're not gonna see any difference, I don't think, so, not notice it. So I think, I did check that, that's doable, so make sure we didn't go over. Alrighty,
Is that brick I see on the bottom of the wall, or?
yeah, just like a brick veneer, well, I'm hoping, right now it's brick veneer, but, so we'll see if.
Might be hardy plank.
Yeah.
Might be what we can afford.
There's some other, so I'm just putting, I'll tell you how it looks, I'm just doing a 48 unit residential place, and there's an all side.
Yeah.
It's not fiberglass, I mean, it's a fiberglass, it's not vinyl, it's got a little insulation in it. And it looks, I'll tell you exactly how it looks in another week or two. But it might be an option too, and it was a little more than vinyl and less than hardy plank, so. And LP's got a different, product too, but we'll find a nice, something that doesn't need maintenance. So,
Well, we hit our 420 mark.
okay, all right. Well, beautiful, so.